Yo, what's up guys? We got Pogame here. Today we're going to be talking about Hisuian Decidueye from a competitive point of view. Now I know that Pokemon Legends Arceus does not have competitive Pokemon. However, we are looking forward toward Gen 9 or whatever game you can actually get these Pokemon in where you can battle with them in your regular battling way that Pokemon usually does it. You know, the regular Pokemon formula. So if you do enjoy this video, make sure you let me know by leaving a like. Also, leave a comment down below on your thoughts on Hisuian Decidueye. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. I'm only at 300k. That is my end of the year goal. To obviously hit that, and if you enjoy competitive Pokemon or anything like that, I upload tournaments, I have Wi-Fi battles, I got these videos where I just talk about Pokemon too, you know, showdown lives. Feel free to subscribe if any of that sounds good. So Hisuian Decidueye is grass and fighting. Now, I think this would be pretty cool if they didn't give us Hisuian Lilligant in the exact same game, and that Pokemon is pretty busted in itself, especially if the move, in-game by the way, if you're playing in the game in itself, and you pick Typhlosion, pick yourself up a Petalil and get you a Hisuian Lilligant. That mon is busted, alright? In-game for sure. Victory Dance, broken. But this Pokemon, instead of being Grass and Ghost, it is Grass and Fighting. Now we do have a few other Grass and Fighting types. Virizion, Chestnut, Breloom, and of course the Hisuian Lilligant that we finally got. So we have these. Not a terrible typing, right? Not terrible typing. A lot of people like to look at it at face value and be like, oh, grass fighting is so terrible offensively because it gets walled by a flying type and it gets walled by poison type and whatever. Yeah, but like if you look at the OU tier list, just to look at it, right? Grass fighting, Blacephalon, obviously pretty good versus that, but we'll talk about why that shouldn't matter too much for this Pokemon. You know, Buzzwole walls it as well, right? Grass moves, fighting moves, like this guy resist it. Like, it's not the end of the world, especially when it comes to coverage. Especially when you actually look at its move pool. You can't really look at a Pokemon just at face value like, oh man, this coverage sucks. It's gonna suck. No, I mean it has other moves, and that's not always how you use a Pokemon, right? Like a Pokemon's more than just the moves that it has in the move pool. So, grass fighting overall, fine. It's fine, especially when it comes off a base 112 attack. Now, this Pokemon is actually stronger than the Decidueye, but they made a few changes, right? They gave it better HP, which is cool. And they did give it less defense and less special defense. More defense and less special defense, but with the 80 HP, it should almost balance out, I would say. More attack at 112 versus less special attack. And then the speed tier is like the one that I hate when they do this, that they make the Pokemon slower. Like, at least be base 70 still, that way I can have it comparable to Breloom, because obviously Breloom is not only stronger than the attack, but has Spore, whereas this Pokemon doesn't. So I do not like when they do this, but at least when it comes to grass fighting, there are some Pokemon you do outspeed naturally, which would be like defensive Rotom, defensive Landorus, max speed Azumarill, adamant Crawdaunt, things like that. I just hate that this mon, it needs Jolly to outspeed like most variants of defensive Landorus. Like you can outspeed defensive Landorus, but some of them can run more. So I hate that it needs Jolly to guarantee outspeed defensive Landorus, because again, it's just not. It's 218 speed. It's not like you need that much to outspeed that mon. So I don't like that it's this much slower. And that's something. If they were gonna do something, if they were gonna like make its attack stronger than its special attack naturally, which it already is, but if they were gonna make it even stronger, they should just take in more special attack and just kept the speed, or at least made it faster. Like base 80, I think would have been a pretty big thing for this Pokemon. But grass fighting overall is not the worst typing. We have some pretty solid Pokemon right here, right? We have Chestnut, which spikes and does things defensively. Obviously, Breloom has Technician and Toxic Heal or Poison Heal that it can do a lot of. We have Virizion, which can do Swords Dance or Calm Mind sets, and then this Lilligant can Victory Dance, which is, again, pretty nasty. But its abilities are the same as the other. Apparently, it's Overgrow and Long Reach. I think Long Reach is fine. Just Pokemon uses moves without making contact. Rocky Helmet, Rough Skin, Iron Barbs, all very, very, very prominent things in competitive Pokemon, right? Obviously, like two of those are limited to Ferrothorn and Garchomp, but Rocky Helmet specifically, the very prominent thing. So I like its ability to ignore that, and I think more importantly, ignoring Static, which is very good because Zapdos is another Pokemon that does resist your grass and fighting. So to be able to go for your Leaf Blades versus it, or your Triple Arrows, which we'll talk about in a sec, to I don't know if that's contact, but basically to be able to go for contact moves versus that Pokemon without having to worry about Flame Body on a Volcarona. I think it's really nice. Now, I'm not saying that I think this Pokemon would be top tier. I'm not saying that. But it does have the coverage to be able to do it. So let's look at its moves real quick. So if we look at Decidueye right here, a few things we do see is Leaf Blade. It still has Aura Sphere. That's a pretty big buff for Nasty Plot variants. Now, this one in itself doesn't have Nasty Plot, but Dartrix learns Nasty Plot upon level up, so I'm assuming just naturally, and this is Sword and Shield, so it learns Nasty Plot upon level up. So I'm assuming if I traded a Dark Tricks from Sword and Shield with Nasty Plot into, let's say, Legends Arceus via Pokemon Home, or wherever we're going to be able to get it, I evolve it there into a Hisuian Decidueye, or there's some other way to evolve it into Hisuian Decidueye, I can have Nasty Plot on it. And if that is the case, then Nasty Plot Aura Sphere is really good with Giga Drain, and then your last move could be some type of coverage like Air Slash, for instance. The other coverage would include, I think it basically always have to be Air Slash. Yeah, you would want that for opposing like Pokemon like Vileplume and things like that, especially because I think it's not going to be the most high tier one, but it still has potential there. And other things that it does have in its move pool that look pretty cool are Bulk Up. I'll Bulk Up something that Decidueye did not have before. It only has Swords Dance. And of course, if this one gets Swords Dance as well, I think that'd be really good too. But Bulk Up's pretty cool. Now, the big thing is it's triple arrows. This is its signature move. The user delivers an axe kick, then fires 3 arrows. This raises the chance of its future attacks landing critical hits and also lowers the target's defense stats. Now, it's 50 base power, right? I don't know how often the secondary effect happens. It looks like it's 100%. It doesn't say anything here. It doesn't actually say anything here. But it's essentially, it looks like it's a focus energy, plus it also lowers the target's defense. Now, I think lowering the target's defense is the biggest thing, because this means that this Pokemon can have potential to be the Pokemon that it normally shouldn't have. So, 50 base power, fighting. Now, one thing that comes to mind when I think about this immediately is like physically defensive Clefable or unaware Pokemon like unaware Clefable. I go for my triple arrows, and we can actually run this calc because we have the technology. We have the Pokemon Shutdown damage calc. So let's go to the Decidueye. Let's go Swords Dance. Let's make it Adamant. Sure. Let's go Lumberry. No Life Orb or anything to boost it. And let's make it go Grass Fighting. And then let's give it that 112 attack. So we'll go for a fighting type attack here. So let's go for Karate Chop because that's the first one that comes off, and it's also really close, right? It's 50 base power. So yeah, there you go, all around the nose. So 50 base power, right? Karate Chop, 50 base power versus Clefable. This would be OU Combine. Let's just make it max defense, max HP, just so I can show you, right? So Karate Chop does 9 to 10%, right? Not anything great, not anything great. However, Leaf Blade does 32 to 38%. So not only is Karate Chop, after it hits, or it's triple arrow, axe, arrows, whatever, after it hits, lowers the defenses. I'm gonna assume it's -1. Your Leaf Blade does 48 to 57. However, you are also focus energy boosting your chance to crit. Leaf Blade already has a high chance to crit as well. I'm pretty sure if you run this with Scope Lens plus the ability to crit, and it's -1, I'm fairly confident you just kill this mon. Yeah, so you have a nice little chance to kill this mon. 73 to 86, which is pretty crazy, because I'm talking about like unaware clef and things like that too. So, and of course that's not even with the potential of a Life Orb boosting your stats in general. So I mean, you're doing or that's not the accurate one, but you're doing the standard 11 to 13%, and then it becomes -1, which means you're doing 63 to 74%, right? And then on top of that, you still have a chance to crit on that turn 2 with Leaf Blade. Now, again, we don't know how this move is going to translate from Pokemon Legends Arceus into a main game. We don't even know if it's going to happen. Obviously, we will have it, but we don't know how it's going to translate. But if it is a focus energy, it raises the chance of future attacks landing crits, and also lowers the target's defense stats. If it raises it, but also lowers defense as well, because that's a big thing too. If it's both special defense and defense, I think that's really good for just regular, like for even mixed sets in general, right? That'd be really good to be able to break. So I think that's a really strong thing for it. And obviously the mon also has Brave Bird coverage, which is cool for like things like Volcarona and others on the physical side as well. Roost for longevity is always cool too. We already have Focus Energy here, but we have Bulk Up plus Roost, which looks really nice. Psycho Cut is interesting. I think I'd always run, if I was running like Bulk Up Roost or just like Bulk Up 3 attacks, I don't know if I'd ever, I mean, you'd run Psycho Cut for like things like Crobat and Weezing, depending on the lower tiers, because again, I don't think this is going to be a higher tier Pokemon, but I think it has potential to be in the higher tiers, to be used in the higher tiers as a breaker for Stall. Because you can easily use it, pair it with a Magnezone as well for Skarmory or anything, Corviknight, you knock them off. Or, I mean, it gets the damage on them too. I think its biggest holdback, or thing that's really holding it back, is the fact that its best physical fighting move is triple arrows. Now, again, as you're lowering your defenses, your move gets stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger every single time you hit it. But the fact that the initial hit is only 50 base power, I think is a really big holdback for it, right? On like choice band sets, but I think choice band has potential to be really good. I also think Specs has potential to be super good too, with choice specs with Leaf Storm, Air Slash, Aura Sphere, and then Giga Drain. I think choice spec sets have a little bit more potential, and I think this is also a really nice thing because we finally have another grass and fighting type that has spikes. So I mean, it's really on par with the aesthetic of this Pokemon, right? That it has spikes, but the fact that it can do that and can be a little bit more offensive than Chestnut in some regards, because it can. It's initially stronger than Chestnut. Chestnut's also, what am I saying, base 107 attack? Yeah, base 107. This was like the original Decidueye too. I think that's a pretty cool thing. Other things that I think that can work on potentially Swords Dance or bulk up sets is that it has Sucker Punch. Now this Mon doesn't have Sucker Punch here, however Dartrix does get Sucker Punch before it evolves. It also gets Shadow Sneak before it evolves too. So, yeah, level 12, and we have Sucker Punch and Shadow Sneak. So that could be pretty cool on Swords Dance sets, similar to how Decidueye would run either Sucker Punch or Shadow Sneak on Swords Dance sets too. Regular Decidueye is definitely going to hit harder regardless of less attack, just because it has the stronger move in Poltergeist to spam. And I think that's where this Pokemon release falls short. Maybe it'll get close combat or superpower in a future game as well, to kind of give it a little bit more, because I think that while Triple Arrows has a lot of utility, and again, it's going to be nice on setup moves and even just like anti-stall breaker things, on those choice band sets, the initial move is just going to be so much weaker, right? Whereas, you know, you have 60 base power on Typhlosion's move, right? Infernal Parade. However, the second you burn somebody, or if they're statused already, you pair it with T-Spike, you pair it with Thunder Wave and things like that, it's going to be 120 base power. So it can power itself up. This can crit, which is fine. If it always crits after, or if it says raises the chance, or if it will crit after, you know, you'll be stronger, obviously. And you're lowering their defenses. So, I mean, I think that's really good. But again, the thing I can't get over is just initially is such a weak hit. It is such a weak hit. 50 versus 60, I think that power difference does make it a big difference, especially because the other one has a chance to always do double. But can always do double under the right circumstances, right? It's like when Gengar runs Hex in Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. You know, versus Gliscor, you're always going to do double the damage, right? Because they're always status. So that Hex always becomes 130 base power. So this is the big thing that I think when it comes to this Pokemon. I do like that it has Aura Sphere, though. I do hope it gets another fighting type attack that can use on choice band sets, so it can be more of a breaker. But I also think that Triple Arrows plus Leaf Blade, maybe Focus Energy, Scope Lens sets, Swords Dance, or bulk up sets can work really nicely for this Mon. Biggest things holding it back is for sure that the reason, like, why they give it base 60 speed, man. That is pretty disappointing about it. But overall, I like the Pokemon. I don't think it's going to be a higher tier, like I said, massive, disgusting threat. But I do think it has potential, and I also think, like, if it retains U-turn as well, like other Decidueye as well, like we see a nice little spike. It would be Spikes U-turn, so it differentiates itself from other Decidueye, not only because of the fighting type, but being able to spike plus U-turn, I think is a really cool combo that none of the others can do. So I really hope that it does get U-turn. Like Dartrix, I'm pretty sure Dartrix learns it naturally. Do we see U-turn here? You don't learn U-turn naturally, bro. Are you serious? You don't learn U-turn? You only get U-turn as your evolution? That's whack. Okay, so Dartrix doesn't get it naturally, which is pretty whack. However, Dartrix also gets knockoff as a move too, so I'm hoping that we can bring that to the other one as well. Also, if it does get defogged too. So just like being able to be, like Decidueye can do that too, but being a grass fighting type, none of these guys can do that. Being a grass fighting that can provide utility and defog and spike, can potentially roost as well, you know, because of the others that can do it. I think it'd be pretty big for it. So guys, let me know your thoughts on Hisuian Decidueye down below. I'm not as excited for it as I am for Typhlosion, but I do think that Triple Arrows has a lot of potential, and it just kind of sucks though that this Mon's grass fighting in the same meta where they gave us Hisuian Lilligant, in which, you know, faster, strong overall, not stronger here, but after Victor Dance it is stronger. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. There's definitely things I'm not seeing with this, and it's also a little bit late, so like I know there's certain things I didn't say as well. I do think that it would be cool though to have the Triple Arrows go for it, and then you have the crit plus defense drop, so you're doing even more and more and more and more and more. So maybe I haven't used it in actual competitive Pokemon. I'm like, oh man, it's gonna be whack at first, but you know, when maybe it's also kind of similar to how like Triple Axle is, like the first hit does nothing, but then your second and third hit just go crazy. So it's probably gonna be like that. I'm just not seeing it immediately. But let me know down below your thoughts. I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Peace. Also, happy Valentine's Day.